Welcome to Vicky Whispers, your serene haven for peaceful evenings, where bedtime stories and sleep stories are crafted to help you unwind, relax, and drift into the deepest, most restorative sleep. This is your sanctuary, a cozy corner dedicated to sleep, relaxation, and preparing your body and mind for the best sleep time. Before we begin tonight's soothing bedtime story, take a moment to prepare your space for comfort. Find a position that feels just right. Whether you're lying in a bed, nested under a warm, soft blanket, or gently reclined in your favorite chair, adjust your pillows so they cradle you perfectly, and let your surroundings feel like a cocoon of safety and warmth. Now, let's start with a deep, cleansing breath. Breathe in slowly through your nose, filling your lungs with calming energy. Hold it gently for a moment and exhale softly through your mouth, releasing the weight of the day. With every exhale, feel your body soften, your shoulders releasing their tension, and your jaw unclenching, and your mind beginning to quiet. Close your eyes if it feels natural, or let them rest softly on a point in the distance. Imagine each breath as a wave, gently washing over you, each one bringing you closer to serenity, each one quieter than the last. This is your time to relax, to let go of the hustle and noise, and to prepare for deep sleep. Let yourself sink deeper into comfort as I guide you through a bedtime story crafted to help you get sleepy, effortlessly and naturally. With each word, feel your thoughts slow down, like leaves floating on a still, quiet pond. There's nothing to do now, no expectations, and nowhere you need to be except here. You are safe, you are calm, you are ready to let the world fade away and embrace the peacefulness of the night. Let this moment be a gift to yourself, a moment to unwind, to release the day, and to welcome a night of deep, restorative sleep. As we begin tonight's journey, allow the words to carry you gently, like a soft breeze through a quiet meadow, helping you get sleepy fast. Let the soothing rhythm of the story guide you into tranquility. Prepare your body and mind for the best sleep time you've ever had. Now, let go of the day, let go of everything else. My voice will guide you into the gentle embrace of the night, where your dreams await and a deep sense of peace surrounds you. Take another deep breath in and out. Feel yourself surrender to this moment. You are ready. Let's begin. Rapunzel by Grimm Brothers, modified and read by Viktor Hejna. In a quiet village, surrounded by endless fields and dense forests, there lived a couple who longed for a child more than anything else in the world. They had tried for years without success, but their hope never faded. One day, the woman began to sense that her deepest wish might finally come true. She felt a change within her, a spark of life growing. Her joy was boundless, yet it was accompanied by an unusual craving that she could not shake. Behind their modest home was a garden unlike any other, brimming with vibrant flowers and lush herbs that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. The garden was enclosed by a towering wall, and it belonged to a sorceress who was feared by all in the land. The villagers spoke in hushed tones about her power, warning others to stay away from her domain. Yet, from their tiny kitchen window, the couple could see the garden, its beauty, a constant, tantalizing presence. One afternoon, as the woman stood by the window, her gaze fell upon a patch of rampion, also called Rapunzel. The tender green leaves seemed to glisten with an almost overworldly freshness. She felt an overwhelming desire to taste it. Day by day, this craving grew stronger, consuming her thoughts and leaving her restless. She felt as though her very life depended on satisfying this yearning. Her husband, alarmed by her pallor and waning strength, could not longer bear to see her suffer. Determined to ease her torment, he decided to venture into the forbidden gardens. As twilight descended and the world fell silent, he scaled the high wall and landed softly on the other side. The garden was even more enchanting up close, its air heavy with the fragrance of blossoms and herbs. Quickly, he gathered a handful of the coveted rampion and hurried back home. His wife devoured it with a fervor he had never seen, and for a moment her color returned and she seemed content. But the following day, her craving returned with even greater intensity. She pleaded with her husband, and though he was terrified of the consequences, he could not deny her. That evening, he once again climbed into the garden. This time, however, he was not alone. As he bent to pluck the rampion, a shadow loomed over him. The sorceress, with her piercing gaze and air of menace, caught him in the act. Fear paralyzed him as she demanded to know why he had dared to steal from her garden. Trembling, he explained his wife's desperate longing, hoping she would show mercy. The sorceress listened intensely, her expression inscrutable. After a long silence, she offered him a grim bargain. He could take as much rampion as he wished, but in return, he would have to give her the child his wife carried. Driven by desperation and the weight of the moment, he reluctantly agreed, though the decision filled him with dread. The sorceress let him go, and he returned home with the rampion, but his heart was heavy with the price they would one day pay. When the child was born, she was radiant, with golden hair that shimmered like sunlight. The sorceress appeared almost immediately, as though summoned by the baby's first cry. True to her words, she claimed the child, naming her Rapunzel, and disappeared into the night. The couple was left grieving, their joy stolen as swiftly as it had arrived. Rapunzel grew up under the watchful eye of the sorceress, who kept her hidden from the world. As the years passed, the child blossomed into a young woman of extraordinary beauty. Her hair grew impossibly long and shone with a golden hue that seemed to capture the essence of dawn. When Rapunzel reached the age of 12, the sorceress took her deep into the forest and locked her in a tower. The tower had no door and no stairs, only a single window high above the ground. It was here that Rapunzel spent her days, isolated from the world. The sorceress would visit her by standing at the base of the tower and calling for Rapunzel to lower her hair. The girl would release her braided locks, which tumbled down like a golden rope, allowing the sorceress to climb up. This routine continued for years, and Rapunzel knew no other life. She passed her time singing, her voice a pure and haunting melody that carried through the forest. One day, a prince who often hunted in the woods heard her singing. Drawn by the ethereal sound, he followed it to the tower. Hidden among the trees, he watched as the sorceress called for Rapunzel to lower her hair and climbed up. Intrigued, he decided to return the next evening. When darkness fell, he approached the tower and mimicked the sorceress's call. To his amazement, the golden braid descended and he climbed up. Rapunzel was startled to see a stranger in her tower. She had never seen anyone other than the sorceress. Yet the prince spoke to her with such kindness and admiration that her fear melted away. One time, he visited her often, bringing silk threads that she secretly wove into a ladder. They planned for her escape, dreaming of a life together beyond the confines of the tower. Their secret meetings were unnoticed until one day. Rapunzel innocently mentioned to the sorceress that pulling her up was far more difficult than lifting the prince. Realizing she had been deceived, the sorceress's rage was swift and merciless. She cut off Rapunzel's golden hair and banished her to a desolate wilderness, leaving her to fend for herself. The sorceress then waited in the tower, using the severed braid to lure the prince. When he arrived, she confronted him with cruel delight, revealing Rapunzel's fate. Overcome with despair, the prince leaped from the tower. Though he survived the fall, he was blinded by the thorns below, wandering the forest in anguish. He survived on roots and berries, guided only by the memory of Rapunzel's voice. Years passed, and the prince's search continued, though his hope waned. One day he heard a familiar melody, faint but unmistakable. Stumbling towards the sound, he found Rapunzel, who had endured years of hardship, yet remained resilient. Recognizing him, she embraced him, her tears falling onto his face. Miraculously, his sight was restored. Together they made their way back to his kingdom. Their reunion was met with great celebration, and they were finally able to live the life they had dreamt of. The years of sorrow faded into memory as they built a future filled with love and joy, proving that even in the face of great trials, hope and perseverance could lead to happiness.